more months to go with all of this. Gretchen Hamel is Executive Director of Public Notice and the former spokeswoman for the House Republican Conference. Margie Omero is the Democratic pollster and the president of Momentum Analysis. Welcome to you both today.
Thank you, Janet.
Margie, I'm going to start with you. That was the latest we've seen from the president's team when it comes to Mitt Romney, and it's very reminiscent of what we saw during the Republican primary with this attack on his business experience. So why go back there? Why would the president's team go back to what we've already just seen in the Republican primary?
Well, voters are going to start making up their minds, general election voters as opposed to Republican primary voters. They're starting to tune in and starting to learn what Mitt Romney is all about, and they're going to continue to make that decision. And these things about his record are very relevant, and it shows his record. It shows he's been on the wrong side of working families. It sets up the contrast for who's got a better plan for the next 4 years. And I think it's completely relevant and makes good politics.
Gretchen, what do you think about it? Because at the same time we're seeing, Romney, to Margie's point, have to talk to these general election voters. He's had some practice in defending all of this, but what else does he need to do? What does he really need to be prepared for here?
Well, Mitt Romney needs to do the introduction to who he is to the American public and start defining him. And he does not need to let the Obama campaign define him. And that's what they're trying to do with this ad. They are trying to define him and his past, what he has done, and they're trying to claim that he is out of touch. He needs to fight back on that, but he also needs to be talking about the issues that matter most to Americans. A lot of people will see this as an attack, but if he starts to talk about the issues that people care about when it comes to the economy, when it comes to government spending, people will listen, and they want someone to give them a solution right now. And if he can show them the solutions, he will win them over.
Let me ask you both a question about what's happening in Europe right now, because that's still a major factor. The president has talked a lot, Margie, about what's happening in Greece and how that could potentially affect our economy. And there's an editorial written in The Atlantic today that talks about, in the opinion of the writer, how Greece could sink Obama's re-election. The writer says Obama has little control. He cannot fashion the behind-the-scenes negotiations or construct a new government in Athens, even though his presidency may hang in the balance. So, Margie, what is the best plan of attack for the president here on something that he really has no control over, but that could affect the American economy?
Well, I think the real difference between the Obama administration and what we're seeing in Europe, and actually it's funny that this is part of the Mitt Romney ad, is that he's always been supportive of a balanced approach in terms of dealing with the economic mess that he inherited. And it's Republicans that walked away from a grand bargain that really would have addressed both revenue increases and cuts in government spending. So I think that when it comes to how voters will view Obama, it's how he handles different crises, and rather than blame him for events that are out of his control. That's certainly how voters view how he's handled the economic mess that was here when he started. And now we have seen 26 straight months of private sector job growth, not an increase in public sector jobs the way you've seen in Greece, and $4.25 million new private sector jobs.
Margie just stated some of the facts, Gretchen. So again, quickly here, because I'm going to have to run, what does Mitt Romney do about the fact that there has been some private sector job growth and it looks better than it once did?
The labor force is at a 30-year low. You cannot argue that fact. There are less people working than there were years ago. That's a problem for him. When it comes to Greece, Greece's debt compared to its economy is at 160%. America's is at 100%. When is it going to stop? And now when you talk about this balanced approach, Europe didn't take a balanced approach. In fact, most nations are spending now more than they were before the financial collapse in 2008. They tried to tax their way out of it, and it didn't work.
We'll see which way it goes as we continue to watch what happens with the economy here. Gretchen and Margie, nice to have you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.